whoosh. Oh, that was so hard.
Oh, okay.
Because I'm an old country bumpkin,
Wow.
I can't be expected to whoosh really fast into this frame.
But what if you want to be a Master Swordsman?
Well, in that case, I'll have to get way faster.
For sure.
What are we talking about today?
We are talking about the anime From Old Country Bumpkin to Master Swordsman.
Yay! This is one that, we watched on Amazon.
Yeah,
which is
that
a
was
first.
weird.
It was a first for us for anime. And I just saw the thumbnail and I was just like, it's like, sounds so cute. Old Country Bumpkin? like how can you not want to watch a show like that?
For sure. It's a silly title. We like those.
And, myself, I grew up in the country.
Yeah.
As a bumpkin.
Yes, total bumpkin.
This title speaks to me.
Yeah, totally.
So we must watch all 12 episodes.
Indeed.
And we did. Well, what do we usually as the plot of the show?
You're following this guy who is an old country bumpkin, but along with his family, he ran a dojo teaching swordsmanship.
Yes.
And so it's sort of been a family thing passed down through the generations. He has all of these students that come back and are these amazing swordsmen.
Yeah.
And he gets sort of brought to the capital to help out because one of his students is like, you're the best swordsman on the planet.
Yeah.
You're amazing. You need to come teach swordsmanship to all of the knights of the country. And he's like, no, I'm just an old country bumpkin.
Yeah.
What can I teach anyone? And as you go, more and more of his students come, and they're all like the heads of their different areas, be it even in magic, or in adventuring, or in the Royal Army. And through it all, he keeps on being like, wow, these students are great. Once they left me, they became amazing.
Yeah.
But really, you keep on seeing him do these things, and you're like, oh, no, he's a master swordsman. He's the reason that they are all as amazing as they are.
Yeah, it's a really funny idea because, like you said, he teaches at this dojo. It's in the backwaters, right? It's like way in the country, and his whole family is full of like masters. But because he's only lived there and he's never beaten his father, as far as he knows, he's just a generic swordsman.
Yeah.
His main student, Alucia, she realized pretty quickly after leaving that his teaching is superior to all other teachers. We've noticed this trend recently that is men that are adult men, either in their 30s or their 40s, and a lot of them sort of like are more humble or don't really believe in themselves. The most popular one right now is Kaiju number 8. But also we watched the newbie Osan Adventurer.
Yeah.
It was the same idea in that of like he thought that he was not that strong compared to like normal people, but he was actually superhuman.
Yeah. It's I'm too old for this and I'm really not as strong as these other guys.
Yeah. And I really love the character of Beryl. It's so nice to have a lead who he's mature and he's modest. And he's strong, but like kind.
Kindness is such a big thing with him.
Yeah.
Because even though he teaches swordsmanship, like, it's not about war. It's not about destruction. It's about using your skills to protect others.
Yeah. And I actually really love the idea of a character that he kind of has no ambition to be the greatest or to even have a spotlight on him. He's just very good at being a swordsman.
Well, like you mentioned before, he's never beaten his father, and until he beats his father, he's never going to see himself as being amazing.
Yeah.
How could he? He's just from the backwaters and can't even beat his dad.
Yeah, all of his ex-students happen to be like young, like attractive women.
Yeah, but they're also these powerful women, and they have such deep respect for him that it's sort of, they sort of also have a crush on him.
Oh, 100%.
And it's great because anytime someone brings it up, he goes, yeah, that's a weird age gap.
Well, especially with Alucia, no, totally, because a lot of people are like, they can read between the lines. They see that Alucia is in love with him, and that he totally is oblivious to it. But you're right, the fact that he was like, no, there's too much of an age gap between us, I was like, did a male character say age gap in an anime? I never thought this day would come. This is real progress, people. The thing I love about this show is that it's funny and it's sweet, but it's still badass when it needs to be. Like, there are a few scenes of action that are really dynamic and really cool. In this first season, there are like 2 or 3 like really intense battles to the death that are like great.
Well, and one of the nice things is that these battles to death, first off, they're done incredibly well and beautifully, but they're also not drawn out.
No.
You know, I think one of the first big ones, you were like, kind of wish it was longer.
Yeah.
But you know, and I agree to a certain extent, but also I'm like, it's exactly as long as it needed to be.
Yeah.
You know?
Okay. Yeah.
And so I think there was something sort of beautiful about the fact that they didn't string it out for 3 episodes, that, you know, that they didn't, like, make the person, you know, keep on, like, getting back up, like, you know, you think they're dead, and then they're back up, and you think they're dead, and they're back up, you know?
Well, and one of the things, too, is that does come into play is the fact that he is older, so he doesn't have the stamina of, like, a Naruto or a Luffy that can just spam stamina all battle. You know, he's got to do it. You know, he's got to be efficient, and he's got to do it while he still has the energy to defeat the villain.
Well, and I love his thought process, because he's thinking about that stuff, too. He's like, when he's battling certain people, he'll notice a flaw, or he'll notice a thing, and he'll be like, oh, I can't let this go another, you know, 5 minutes, or else I'll be out.
Yeah.
You know? I need to figure out what to do right now.
Yeah, and I love that. I love hearing the thought process of the fighter. You know, that's one of the things I really liked about Solo Leveling.
Yeah.
But I would say a lot of this anime is kind of cozy.
It is.
You know, it's a bit slice of life, even though it's like a fantasy show. Beryl, he kind of just wants to chill.
Yeah, every time he gets drawn into something, he's like, do I have to?
Yeah.
You know, and it's like, part of it is because he keeps on thinking, I'm not the best man for this.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not the best person for this. Clearly, I'm not the strongest. But he's always going to say yes. You know? Especially to his students, to his former students. He will absolutely say yes to them. But in the back of his mind, he's like, there's got to be better people than me for this job.
Yeah, he's a total badass, but he just doesn't really get that.
Yeah.
And that's like a really fun trope. But I will have to say, Beryl always takes on like really tough guys, going into danger. Like he never lets like his thinking that he might not be the best get in the way of action.
Yeah.
Which is really cool. He's also like very real about the danger, and I don't know, I find that really like cool, because you know we watch a lot of One Piece, and as much as I love like what I love about Luffy is he never thinks about the danger. He just goes full bore into it, and I like having somebody that's older and like more thoughtful about the situation, what's going on, and what he needs to do in order to survive and protect people, and it's cool.
Yeah, and I like all the different characters that they bring in. I like the head of the Magic Guild.
Yes.
She's very funny.
Lucy Diamond.
Yeah, Lucy Diamond.
Yeah.
I love all of his former students.
Yeah.
They're just so funny, and the different dynamics. I love that he even has a former student that makes swords.
Yes, he was blacksmith. Mm-hmm. Yeah, totally.
Yeah, there's so many cool things. I love when you find out why he never actually became an adventurer.
Yes.
You know, things that sort of kept him to just running the dojo with his parents.
Totally.
I love in the very beginning how his parents essentially kick him out.
They do.
Because they claim they want grandchildren.
Yeah.
Really, it's because they want him to get the kind of recognition that he deserves, because they know how good he is.
Yeah.
But they kept him being like, no, you got to go find a wife, give us some grandbabies.
Yeah, that was really funny.
So funny.
Yeah. He ends up kind of like adopting a daughter midway through.
Yeah, you get this great slice of life stuff with that.
Yeah, and her story actually was a lot like one of the characters from that Appraisal Skull anime that we saw last year, which I thought was really cool, and I like both shows. But yeah, and like he fights a griffin, like lots of cool stuff happens, and once again though, like a lot of the isekai we like and watch, there's like a comfort to it, there's a fun to it, there is danger, but it doesn't feel like dire at all. You know, it's like we watched Orb a few weeks ago, and Orb was like, it just felt so dire all the time.
Yeah, for sure.
And it was a great show, don't get me wrong, but it's nice to get back to something that there are stakes, but like it also feels nice.
Yeah, well, it's funny because when they have these battles, they can be brutal. The fights are real.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it mixes it with this great cozy stuff, so it just has this beautiful flow to it.
Totally. You know, I also think the animation's great. Yeah. It's obviously 2D, but some of the sword fighting clearly has 3D elements to it. Sometimes two swords colliding are 3D elements, and so they can move the camera around really dynamically. And there's, like, some of the action choreography and the way they manipulate the animation with 2D and 3D are amazing. Like, they're really spectacular. Yeah. In a way that I actually kind of wasn't expecting.
Yeah.
Which was just another level of, like, wow, this show is, like, really cool.
You were expecting some Old Country Bumpkin effects.
Exactly. And I got brand new effects. Oh yeah, so another interesting thing is this is actually based on a series of light novels that started in 2020 that became a manga in 2021. But the title is slightly longer, like some of the great anime with super long titles. What's the title of the light novel?
From Old Country Bumpkin to Master Swordsman, my hotshot disciples are all grown up now, and they won't leave me alone.
I love that because that is literally exactly what the show is.
100%.
Because like every time they're like, oh, you're gonna meet like this new like special knight or whatever.
You're gonna meet the head of the adventure guild. You're gonna meet the
It's always one of his ex-students, and it's really funny and it's really good. So yeah, from Old Country Bumpkin to Master Swordsman is on Amazon. If you have a Prime account or don't mind commercials, you should watch it. I really enjoyed it.
Me too.
And it's a great fun time.
Yeah, 12 episodes, and they just greenlit season 2 for next year.
There you go. 12 episodes. It's great. All right, guys, thanks so much for watching. Please like and subscribe. And Anna, what's the question?
Who's your favorite anime sensei?
Oh, that's a really good question.
Yeah.
I feel like it's going to be a lot of like Kakashi's.
Probably.
And Jiraiya. Yeah. But could be Roshi's.
Could be.
You know? God, that's a really good one. Man, you should do this more. You should do more YouTube. Great. Awesome. So good. Okay, guys, thanks so much for watching. Bye.